or between 7 and 9. I stayed with my grandmother in Greenville, North Carolina. And between 2 and 5 p.m., either the Cleo infomercial would come on. And, I would have watched The Twilight Zone and Sex in the City. And then Cleo's infomercial would come on. And her accuracy was on point. And I remember there was something going around that she was a fraud. However, it don't matter if she was a fraud or not. I don't know. I'm not going to assume because somebody else's psychic abilities, they psychic abilities. But she was one of the first few psychics who took her business out with it, because let's be honest, when you are naturally gifted and you have psychic abilities, which develop after going through a lot of trauma, well, you're going to be aware of that. You're going to be around a lot of people going through trauma who don't know how to move past the trauma. So a lot of them don't discover their psychic abilities. And for her to have took it on TV and even took like slots between 2 and 5 a.m. in the a.m., you have to think, for people joked about Cleo, and I was one of them, y'all. However, I look at it now, if it had not been for Cleo, I probably would not be, into tarot cards. Like, y'all, I'm looking at my cards. Like, I grew up in Greenville, North Carolina, where it's Bible Belt and things like that. And so if you did tarot, they said you were going to hell. So I remember I had bought a deck of playing cards, and I was curious as a child, what does these cards do? What would Cleo, I wasn't thinking about it. I was like, what would Cleo do? And King of Spades and 8 of Hearts. 8 of Diamonds. So this but then I felt bad and I felt guilty because I was like, no, man, I may go to hell, because in the Bible Belt, it's like, don't do tarot. I'm just like, what? Why are you telling me not to do tarot? Because it's the devil. How is it the devil? Well, you got demons telling you stuff. And these were the same people who were physically abusing me. They were punching me. They were basically giving me black eyes and telling me to tell the school that my sister did it. So I started thinking to myself, how is tarot the devil's work? But you are over here going up in church like this. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. And then when we behind closed doors, you little filthy, ugly, dirty bitch. You always trying to take people's attention. Now, as a child, I was like, I want to do tarot. That's all I want to do is get a fucking set of cards. Now I realize why they didn't want me to play with cards. Because they knew I was a natural tarot card reader. Okay? So, I want to say I forgive y'all. And the fact is, I know my family's scared as shit because they got a reading on me when I was 3. Found out some funky shit, like some real cool ass shit. And then they got into magic. But still, and church. Praise God. Praise God. Oh yeah. Praise God. Behind closed doors. You get a next. However, when I would go to school to cover up the abuse, she's just a problem child. So I just showed you layers of narcissism. We got the King of Spades. Let's just say there's levels to narcissism. All right. So what we gonna do? We gonna do a reading, a 3-power reading. Fact, I'm gonna actually put the timestamps in because I want y'all to find this. When you find this, means you meant to find this. But we're going to see what it is that your abusive, toxic parental figures kept you from doing because they knew it would unlock your psychic abilities. Something that you enjoy doing, get back into it. And we're doing a 3-power pick a card for that. But there's levels to narcissism, you know? There's that one level. Yes, I love children. Then there's the next level. My childhood. I didn't have a childhood. I'm going to try to hide the fact that I'm afraid for my own life by hurting this child. Then there's the other level, the lower level. A child that's wounded, the wounded inner child, like, oh, please don't hurt me, don't hit me. Now, anyone can be a narcissist. This is if you take the path of the wounded child, who, before they get to narcissists, they choose to give in to the fear. Now, with as much narcissistic abuse as I have endured, 30 years of my 31 year young life, well, I had a choice to be just like them. And I was on the path of it, and I started getting karma. And karma was like, boom, bop, bam. I want to say thank you, karma. So I got a whole bunch of Saturn in my chart, and Saturn whips me in shape. Saturn says, stop, slow your brakes. What you're doing doesn't have integrity, so get back on it. And to get me back on track, Saturn whipped that ass. Thank you, Father Saturn. All right. So I want to say thank you, Father Saturn, for showing me that discipline. Now, I realize there's others who do have Saturn in their chart. And if you got Saturn in your chart, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But they choose to not use that wisdom, aka my sister. When my mother would abuse us and molest us, I would sit and cry and be in this very emo mode. My sister would get angrier and angrier, and she would plan and plot on how to get back at my mother. And I was angry with my mother too, but I was so sensitive as a child. I was like, why are you abusing me again? What's going on? Honey, that's her demons. They ain't got shit to do with me. I gave her so many chances to talk to me about it, and she took it out on me that she could not afford her coke addiction, okay? And then she went up into the NA meetings. Yes, 30 years clean. I'm so grateful and so excited. My mother would be speaking for 50 plus people, acting like she was clean, but yet this bitch was, times get hard, coming where I'm from. Sometimes you gotta cry a little bit louder. So this 8 of Cups here, 8 of Hearts, is saying it's time for us to talk about what we've been through. People from your past probably jumbled memories up, especially if abuse is a part of it. What they don't want you to talk about that real shit. Like, this is what Pop said it was, but this is what it really was. This is what Mama said it was, but this is what it really was. This is what Auntie said it was, but this is what it was. This is what it is. And how can I turn it into something that's not going to turn me into the monster that I'm afraid of? See, it's not that people can't be healers. Anybody can be a healer, but you have to choose to not become the monster that terrorizes you. Now, we can say that shit is easy. No, that shit ain't easy. I got PTSD from being narcissistically abused by not only my family, but people who call themselves my friends. 3 of Hearts, 4 of Diamonds. People who say I'm not stable, but they're lying on the paper that I'm not stable because they don't like how I trigger trauma within them. Yes, I trigger trauma in everybody. That's one of my psychic abilities, triggering trauma. And I have learned to stand 10 toes down for myself when I have ACS lying on my name, because it's not really just ACS, it's people in the ACS organization who have not healed from being abused, who have not healed from being neglected and abandoned. And so they separate families. Now, not everybody does that, but there's a few people who, the ones in ACS who do separate families because they're triggered by a parent who's fighting for their child. Well, when you healing from severe narcissistic abuse of 30 years, and then you come up into ACS and realize that somebody stole your child from you because you did not want to be in an abusive relationship. When you have narcissistic, toxic, feminine energy field ACS representative after another, you want to give the fuck up. You want to use what you know against them. But then when you are of love and light, you say, shit, what I put out, I get back. So let me put out forgiveness. I had people tell me I could not express that I was angry because they were afraid that if I expressed I was angry, bad things would happen to them. So I felt shame and guilt to simply say, I'm angry. I don't understand why you have hit me the way you have, but it hurts. And you tell me that I can't cry. You tell me that I can't be angry. You tell me that I just need to read the Bible and be more obedient. Praise God. Look at Sister Shirley. Oh, we love Sister Shirley. Her mama's so pretty. Oh my gosh, honey, do you know what I just cooked for dinner last night? Let me tell you all about it. In fact, I'll bring you a plate, but behind closed doors, bam. 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 Growing up in my house, it was terrible. So to have ACS trying to put dirt on my name, let me just say this. I am so close to filing the biggest fucking lawsuit against ACS ever. I don't give a flying fuck if they say I'm mentally unstable to the end of it, to prove a point to see if I'm going to get beat down. The fact that ACS is retaliating against me because I have filed complaints against negligent workers who are connected to multiple children's deaths in ACS. Right here, 7 of motherfucking diamonds. I'm gonna put that work in. I'm gonna put that work in. And anybody who has hurt a child in ACS and has tried to sweep it under the rug because that guilt is eating you alive and you're afraid of going to prison. Well, whatever it is you decide to do, you got to do what you got to do. But I got to do what I got to do. And I'm here for the kids. So I am a psychic. I'm highly gifted. I am a medium. I offer services. I do exorcisms. I do tarot card readings. I also teach Sudoku. I teach anything. I'm a scientist. I'm a dancer. I'm a singer. I'm a writer. I'm a photographer. I'm an artist. I love my family. I love that I'm psychic. I love that I get to help people heal with my psychic abilities. I love that when I walk the streets of Harlem, I meet some of the most beautifulest souls you will ever meet. In fact, these 2 pens I got, Winnie Mandela and Harriet Tubman, I got from one of the baddest brothers in Harlem. He got his own shop. And so as I'm walking through the city, I look back and I think my past, because when I say past, thank you. Past, thank you for showing me that new beginnings come from the most biggest pains. And when you are brave enough to face the fears of your biggest pains, well, you come to the other side and you're blessed with peace. See, peace isn't given. We must take our peace by standing our ground, by admitting when it hurts, to admit when you feel bad. But really, that's an illusion that an abuser told you so they would not get caught. When you express your emotions authentically in a healthy, balanced way, you are well received. And when you decide, when you feel as if, see, we live in a world right now that if you had a narcissist tell you you can't express your emotions, but you're an empath and you do express it, what happens? It's explosive. And that's what a lot of people are trying to get us to. They're trying to get us to explode. They're trying to get us illegally locked up in hospitals so that they can do experimentation on us, because they can't figure out how it is we're getting younger and they're getting older. It's stress. Stress is caused when one chooses to not be accountable for their own emotions. So every day, just because you have a spiritual awakening, just because you may be in, let's say you get your dream job. Let's say you get to skate at the Olympics, all right? Let's say you finally get that pilot's license. Let's say you finally make the fucking most perfectest souffle in the world, but you still feel a little empty. Because inside, something's trying to express itself to you. It's you. But you that's buried in all this pain and trauma. And then the older you get, it just, you keep, it's like you're dragging a weight with you. A weight that's telling you, you got to carry me everywhere you go. But when you become spiritual, the same people that abused you say, you're crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy. No one's going to believe you if you tell them what I've done. This is the family I grew up in. But on the outside, it was, praise God. Woo! Praise God. Oh. But behind closed doors, boom. You little dirty bitch. Yo. Levels to narcissism, okay? So, Ada Diamond says, you are healing. The ugly things you didn't want to remember from your childhood are coming up. Let it come up. Because if you pack it down, that pain is going to erupt one way or another. And if you are an empath, because empaths' energy naturally picks up narcissists and they come a mile a minute looking for us to get our attention, you want to start allowing that pain to release. It returns it to the sender. Because what happens when you release heavy pressure of lies and illusions, the illusion goes back to the narcissist who created it. And the illusion, what's attached to the illusion, is all the after effects of the illusions that they told you. So let's say I told you, you can't say no to me, and you grow up and you're a doormat for everybody. And you are stabbed in the back. And every time you try to talk about it, because I don't want to lose the benefits of you being a yes person as well, I just lie to you and say, you can't say no to me. In fact, you have to tell me everything. Because if you don't, that's lying. So every time a narcissist adds a new illusion and effects of it happen, let's say you got a tree full of illusions. And in this tree, the leaves show all the incidents you experience. The branches are the trauma, and it all goes down to the root. So when you start talking about what you've been through, you're going to have people do death threats and say, keep talking. is this. But what's happening is, while you talking about it, that stuff is going back to the narcissist, and the narcissist can't put that trauma on anybody else, and they attract everything that you attracted. So if you have a narcissist who abused the shit out of you, that narcissist, whoever abused you, whatever it is you're releasing as you're expressing it authentically, they are experiencing exactly what you went through. So if you realize I still have some trauma in my body, don't be afraid of it. Realize that it's important to release it. Because as I was stating, if you are an empath and if you react violently, the narcissists are going to realize we just successfully triggered a Hayoka. So now we're going to try to get this Hayoka legally hospitalized, even though it's obvious we were triggering their PTSD because he wanted to get a reaction out of them to basically be able to say, well, this supports the documentation that we have. I know that this documentation doesn't match and is not in alignment, but because we're doing a lot of cover up on the paperwork and we're making mistakes because we're running out of time and court's coming up, let's make sure that that person, when they notice this one thing, we can explain it. So I'll go back to my story. I have a lot, I'm just using an example, my experience. But ACS keeps saying I am mentally unstable. However, when the ACS individuals speak, here's what they do. You know how when you have a speech, right? You have a paragraph. You have the intro, the body of the paragraph, and the ending statement. You also have some transitional statements in it. So what they'll do is they'll say, X is something, all right? But they miss the body statements. And because the individuals who I'm triggering their trauma to the point where they are getting, they get into a state where the grief is so bad that when you do not deal with your grief, you will, when I say deal with it, when you do not acknowledge that the grief is there, and the grief comes in the form of disease, because it's saying, talk to me, release me. So when you have a body ache, it's not that, it's the grief is coming up through your body trying to be released. And if you do not deal with grief, this form comes in the form of disease. What, also contributes to disease is when we overindulge in certain things. Now, the 9 of Hearts, one would say, wish fulfillment. However, what happens when God is gifting you something, but you're not grateful for it? And you say, well, I'm not great. I want more. And you try to add something else to it. Then you lose a gift. So you start overindulging in things to make up for hold on a second. All right, you guys. So then you start overindulging in substances to deal with not being able to effectively express your emotions, because the grief that's coming through is so deep. Most people when I'm around them, they get into a state where they're willing to commit a crime. Okay? A literal crime. So I'm not afraid of people's shadows or anything. I'm actually an expert in criminology. So this is why I'm sharing all this information with you guys, because the more you understand how the physical body is connected to crime rates, you'll be able to understand things. For example, if you notice that your heartbeat is picking up and you want to breathe, mindfulness breathing will come in handy, because if there is someone trying to take anything from your home or hurt you, the more calmer you are, they're less likely to attack. Let me explain. If I were a robber and I wanted to attack someone who was a single female, what would I do? I would try to get that person to be fearful. Robbers don't just blindly pick a random person to rob. They actually pick someone who seems to be very fearful and afraid, okay? And if you do have quite a young look to you and you're single, and if you're a single mother, robbers are more likely to try to target you, okay? But before they do it, they want to ensure that they are, what's the word? They want to ensure that they have found a target who is, oh, I'm scared. No, if you are, considered vulnerable in the times we are in, because it is what we consider a Great Depression, aka mental illness is about to run rampant, because a lot of people's money is going to be funny. So they're going to be trying to target you if you seem naturally abundant. However, how do you stop a robber if you cannot actually afford a security system? You use binaural beats. Altono 777 has some of the greatest things I've ever seen. And then there's also a couple of other subscribers, channels I'm subscribed to, I'm going to tell you guys about. But we are now in a time where addiction has picked up. What does that mean with addiction having been picked up? Crime. This ace of spades here is telling me crime. It is time for you to educate yourself on real criminology. For example, we grew up in a time when people told us that a robber would target you if you were a particular thing. However, if you will notice, domestic abuse is definitely going to be increasing at this point in time, okay? And I'll tell you guys why. Because there's a lot of individuals who are extremely grief-stricken, and they want to make sure that no one knows how they truly feel. Okay? So people who are not willing to express their emotions are more likely, 9 times out of 10, it's easy to trigger them. Now, if you're an empath, you've possibly been told you're too emotional. Don't express your emotions, things of that nature. And so you probably got very uncomfortable when you were releasing toxic emotions stored in your body from trauma due to some form of abuse from a narcissist, okay? Well, it's going to feel heavy, but you're going to feel great afterwards. And people are going to try to stop you from speaking your truth. Now, narcissists actually can't, really speak their truth. And this is why. Because when they speak the truth, what actually happens? Let's find out. They realize all the illusions they believed has got them farther and farther from their dreams. So if you realize that you will not ever be able to accomplish your dreams, well, there is a poem called A Dream Deferred. Go check it out. A dream deferred, I would describe it as, let's say, a graveyard full of dreams, okay? So, King of Swords and the 5 of Pentacles, okay? So, supported by the Fool and the Ace of Pentacles and the 8 of Cups, alrighty? So what this is telling me is whoever it is that stole from you, and I mean, they took things from you. They didn't just take finances. They took energy. This is someone who took your emotional energy, your grief that you chose not to express, due to limiting beliefs saying you can't express yourself. Well, this person is acting as if they are in a position of authority, but they are actually losing support. And because they're losing support, well, as we stated, what happens when a narcissist starts to realize the truth? They start to realize, oh, shit. I am standing on unstable foundation. The lies that I have built my life upon, I'm back at the beginning and I realize I'm so far from my dreams and I'm afraid. However, what I'm picking up, this energy has used their smarts and wits to get about. And so when a narcissist sees that their illusions are just illusions, they want to keep up the appearance that, okay, I'm still in control. However, this you healing with this Eight of Cups here, this is with you grieving. Eight of Cups is about the grieving process as well as being able to accept that moving forward emotionally is not easy. And this is what a lot of narcissists will not do. This is why they like to target empaths, because they like to store their traumas in empaths, okay? Alrighty? And with this Ace of Pentacles, this tells me that narcissists normally like to target empaths full of grief, because this allows them to manifest, temporary things, okay? And the reason a narcissist wants to keep an empath around long term is because if they don't have an empath, then the source of where they were manifesting off of that individual's grief, if they don't have an empath around, they lose the blessing, the gifts that they were given. In fact, they lose it so fast. So if you know of a narcissist who manifested off of your grief by trauma bonding you with shame, alrighty, who try to stop you from leaving, this Fool tells me new beginning. Something tells me you tried to leave a very sociopathic narcissist behind who went above and beyond to destroy the very core of you by getting close to those that you know, so you could feel abandoned. This Five of Pentacles also tells me that not only was there instability financially created within you, there was instability created outside of you. You had if somebody was already turned against you, somebody from your past, made sure that they worked specifically with people who were against you. So do not be surprised if you see certain people together, because what happens when we go back to the emotions, if you trigger people's traumas, and some traumas are so deep that it makes them want to commit crimes instead of feeling their way through it, well, don't be surprised if somebody that you least expected, is teamed up with somebody. Okay? You have to accept it's simply part of the way this thing works. If I rule the world, I'll free all the boys and girls, black diamonds and pearls, unconditional love, joy, removal of obstacles, and guardian of the earth. All right, so I'm getting some happy messages here, okay? But basically, to sum this up, okay, because and understand part of the grief process, as you start to get a clearer understanding of what happened and what didn't happen, because let's be honest, when we experience trauma, everything is distorted, okay? Well, when you start to express how you feel, despite it being difficult, the confusion clears up and you start to realize, okay, and you start to realize things about yourself. For example, I know I do not like people being around people who are they like to play chess. And I can tell someone who likes to play chess, because I like to play chess, but not for competition. I just simply like playing chess because I just like having fun. But to sum this up right here, someone who took from you is in debt right now. Now, Five of Pentacles. Some would say they're having poverty. They're in debt because this person was able to manifest off your grief and your shame. And so what happened here now is this individual, to protect themselves from being exposed because they feel they've let some people down, okay, some people they're working with. They understand the context of the relationship and the dynamics of the people that they've let down. And they also understand that to keep some form of peace active in those connections, finances are important. So these are individuals who are connected to people who are very money driven, money motivated, and things like that. And this individual is very hard on themselves as they were to you. So they tell themselves in a perfectionist tone, I have to get these finances. But there literally is a Great Depression going on, okay? There's a money drought. Even, the ones that we think have the money don't have the money. So this is telling me a lot of people are in debt. Now, to sum this up, if this person does not have cannot keep up with the financial quota that is expected of them, well, there's no need for them to, they're going to, like, basically they're starting to see, if I'm in a pinch, are you going to be here for me? They're starting to see who their real friends are. They're starting to see, like, hey, I want to know that if I don't have any money, are you going to be here for me? Something tells me that you were there for this person when they did not have stability. Okay. When I think of Five of Pentacles, I feel like they were really going through a very tough time. They didn't know how to emotionally express it. And you were like, you could be a fairy godmother for them. You could be viewed as just a miracle that walked into their life. And these people let their insecurities show, they show towards how they treated you. So now they are experiencing how they treated you with their finances. So basically it's like whatever is important to this person is being hit, okay? And so whatever they exploited of you so that you could feel as if you don't have enough, and so you probably could have equated that to you're not enough, whatever was important to you, that this, like, your self-love, everything about you, your self-esteem, if they took something from you, things like that. Because this 5 is saying there's an unequal give and take here, okay? They're experiencing it in their finances. But closely connected to their finances is the fact that they want to fit in. They want to be accepted. They want to be viewed as something that they're not. They want to be viewed as these very intelligent, witty, humorous people. But the King of Swords, let's talk about the King of Swords, because the King of Swords, there's two sides to the King of Swords, okay? We're going to discuss the shadow aspects, and then we're going to go to the light aspects of the King of Swords. So the shadow aspects of the King of Swords, there's a coldness. So when I say coldness, this is what I mean. Let's say you ask someone to marry you, right? And the person doesn't really not express themselves like okay, let's say this person knows how to express themselves authentically, but the way they talk is kind of monotone like this. Yeah. Okay. So we'll do a scenario. Okay. Will you marry me? I love you so much. Yeah. Now, if you don't take the time to get to know the person, you might think you don't really want to marry me, huh? But if you take the time to know the person, you'll realize, wait, you're just really calm. But on the outside, but you're really excited on the inside. Right? So the King of Swords can be really excited, but not express it. Okay? All right. So the King of Swords can be silent, like calm, but very excited inside, okay? And so we're gonna keep going. Now, oh, wait. Actually, there's so much of the King of Swords. We're just gonna stick with the code part. So I feel like you experience a lot of coldness from a very intelligent individual. This could be a female, this could be a masculine, but really they were very excited when you were around. Now, how this goes in the shadow aspects is because the King of Swords is afraid of losing control and being taken advantage of. Just like the Queen of Swords, the King of Swords has been hurt deeply, okay? You know, being that brainy, there's a reason you may choose to be born as an air sign, because that just probably simply means that you feel safest in your head, okay? If you were born an earth sign, you feel safer with your body, right? So you're very powerful with your skin. If you're born an air sign, if you're born an air sign, your brain is your superpower, okay? If you are born a water sign, your emotions is your jam, okay? And if you're born a fire sign, then you dance like fire, okay? Very passionate. And it's not good to misjudge your passion for something it's not. So if you take it back to the King of Swords, if the King of Swords doesn't feel safe in their own head, this goes to the shadow aspect of the King of Swords in reverse, where the King of Swords in reverse is a dictator, a tyrant, cold, like when we say cold-hearted, where when they touch you, you feel like, I need a jacket, and you still feel cold. So this person made you feel like that, and now they're starting to feel it, but before it hits them inside, because they are borderline narcissists. This person is also sociopathic too, okay? There's no need to fear anything like that. Just so you can know, it's starting to hit their finances. So they're not really, like, that Five of Pentacles is also telling that finances are kind of just being juggled. Right? Like, give me my money, you know? Or like the kid in the middle of the bullies, and they're throwing his bag. Give me my bag. That's what it feels like, you know? So this person got a lot of their power based off of the things they had, and now they're beginning to lose it. So this is when it's going to start showing itself physically. This is when you're going to start seeing wrinkles on their face, signs of stress. You're going to start to see them, they could walk like this. Yay, bro, I'm in. And then they're going to start walking like this, because stress over time wears and tears your body down. Oh, I'm cool, bro. But you notice what happens when we stress, all right? Well, the body immune system wears down. That's why you have a lot of people trying to steal young people's organs. Crazy, right? Like, to be born into this world, you have to know how to survive every goddamn thing. People who steal organs, people who sex traffic, people who rape. You got to know how to survive in this world. So, what was the thing that made me feel safest? Cleo. All right. She came on between 2 to 5 a.m. in the a.m. In the a.m., all right? And I felt most safest when I was able to see Cleo. Now, I thought I was weird because I like the infomercials. I didn't like those 30-minute shows, you know. I remember the beautiful, lovely Cleo's skin was a glowing. She had that, even if the accent was fake, who gives a flying fuck? If they said she fake because her accent was off, honey, don't be hating on Cleo. Look, when you are psychic, let's talk about this before we get into this pick a card, right? When you are a psychic, you are talented. You can be anything you want to be. You can be a singer, a dancer. You can be a guitarist. You can be a you can do any fucking thing you want to be. So that just tells me Cleo could have been a voice actor. Okay? So, and when you're psychic, it's best that you become an entrepreneur. Even if you don't see no money for a couple of months, keep doing what you're doing. Because when you're psychic, you naturally pick up on people that want to just feed off your energy. So you could, give into the abuse and bullying of others and the manipulation, and suffer on a daily basis, if you want. Or you could be like, look, call me what you want. I ain't worried about my bills being paid, because at the end of the day, even if I get kicked out, I know I got the psychic abilities to get another place. Right? I also got the psychic abilities to know how to not become homeless again. Right? While you may talk shit about me and say, she's crazy, she's lazy, she just doing that for attention. You the one. How are we gonna pay these bills? Stop hitting me. Leave the baby alone. But you in public. Yeah, I love my family. I love my wife. But behind closed doors, bitch, make sure my meal's ready when I come home. See, this is the shit I be knowing. So, I just finally made peace with it. You gonna talk shit about me? Go ahead and talk shit. Do what you gonna do. I'm cool with that. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what I love doing. I like I said in the beginning, if you called it, great. I'm a medium. I love doing mediumship. But I also want to put out here, if you are a psychic and if you choose to still work with others for someone else's company, you're going to deal with a lot of people who are cold-hearted, sarcastic towards you, very curt. You could be the most sweetest person in the world, but because you got a swag that they can't jack, they'll just like, you want it or not. I guess so. Yeah, I'll take it. Shit like that. And then to other people, they're going to be like, yeah, I'm super patient. Also, because they're trying to trigger you, so you'll look like they're mentally unstable, but really the person simply saw themselves clearly and they didn't like what they saw. Like their value is connected to how they view themselves through others, how others perceive them. So if you are highly psychic and you decide to still work for somebody, you're going to experience harsh words, and you're going to experience people constantly evil eyeing you. Like before you set boundaries, they going to bully you and pick on you. But when you like set boundaries and you like, you're not welcome here. Get the fuck away from me with that fake shit. They just literally gonna sit there, watch you, talk shit about you, and prey on your downfall. So this is where if you're highly psychic, own your fucking abilities, right? Like do it because you love doing it. Because look, if they gonna talk, they gonna talk. But it's not like they could get access to their psychic abilities. They're choosing to sit in shit. See, trauma staying in your body, causing disease, is like sitting in shit. Okay? You first start the shit, you're like, I guess I'm stuck here now. because you was that uncomfortable. You decided to stay in shit. Now, if something bothers you enough, it don't matter how comfortable it is. You may even be stuck. You gonna find a way to get out that bitch. That's how you get psychic abilities. That's why I don't fuck with nobody when it comes to my fucking money. So, by the way, you guys, be patient. You gonna look back 5 years from now and be like, God damn, yo, I didn't think I was gonna make it through. And look, we in this bitch. If you are 35 years young, something big's about to happen for you. The blessing is so big, there's a build up to it. Understand? There's a build up. You're protected, your loved ones are protected. But whatever it is you working towards, if you are, you're going to reach about 35, okay? Be patient. The goal is not about knocking this off my bucket list. That's why, think about it, that's why we had like multiple lives, multiple lifetimes, right? So we could do one thing at a time, because when you're trying to do everything at once, it's stressful. Especially when you're multi-talented. So I finally got to the point, I was like, you know what I love doing? That's lightweight. Hanging in my house, walking to the lake, chilling with my fish named Water. Yeah, I didn't name it. I'm gonna take that. That's my ego speaking. But this is my baby. This is my baby, y'all. Fish. Well, Water. It's very peaceful. It's super peaceful. We just be chilling. I love my tarot. By the way, I went to the guitar store, the music store yesterday. Yo, I played electric guitar. That was a bad man, Jim. But I always go back to what I love doing. Because it's what helped me get through tough times. Whatever it is that helped you get through tough times, stick with it. It don't matter if you ain't seeing the flowers of your seeds growing right now. Stick with it. Whatever helped you stop yourself from killing yourself. Whatever helped you not give up when somebody wanted you to give in to their abuse. That is what you stick to, because this 10 of Pentacles don't lie. This 10 of Cups don't lie. Any conflict that comes your way, say thank you. And look at a brand new way to look at that conflict. Somebody want to start some shit with you, you can be like, you know what? Why am I going to sit here and act as if I don't know what's about to take place a couple of years from now? And if you are over 35 years young of age, whatever it was that you're working towards is going to, I don't know, something big is going to happen for you. 35 is a special numbers. Just look it up. I don't need to know what it means right now, and I'm okay with that. But if you watch this part of the video, you needed to see it. But, whatever happened, like, just realize no one knows what the fuck is going on. When you are highly psychic, you know what's going on. That's why when you get warnings from your angels in advance, don't do this, don't do that, change that plan. Others who don't want you to be seen for who you truly are end up looking bad. So we have the Eight of Spades, and Archangel Regal is here with relationship healing. So what I'm picking up here is that you have had people paint you in a certain light. Because when I think of this blue in this beautiful picture of Archangel Regal, you're quite peaceful. And so some people may interpret that as target, because they're not used to that much self-discipline and self-control. They would really like to just not see themselves clearly. But when you're around a truth speaker with this Ace of Spades here, people like to say the truth speaker is crazy. But what they really mean by crazy is I feel very vulnerable and I don't exactly know how to efficiently and authentically express the emotions connected to the fear of my vulnerabilities. So instead of me saying that or my own unique way, I want to point a finger at you and say you're something that you're not. And I'm starting to notice the thing that I'm saying about you is my fears inside being expressed. And the thing is, I know that you understand while I'm doing it. So, because you don't have boundaries, I'm going to continue to pick and poke at you. And even when you set boundaries, I'm starting to understand I do not have self-discipline or control. So instead of me simply acknowledging and admitting to myself that I'm in toxic behavior, and because I'm continuing toxic behavior, I'm a toxic person, I'm going to call you crazy. So people can view you the way I view myself. And so that when you try to speak for yourself, they're going to be confused because I'm taking on your persona. And I want you to take on my insecurities. But because I'm rejecting myself and I feel shameful and guiltful for the abuse that I did not ask to endure, but I endured it, not understanding it's meant to make me grow bigger and better, I'm going to simply label you the most offensivest term of the 21st century. Crazy. People who go above and beyond to misunderstand you, even when you go above and beyond to prove your loyalty to them, says to you, the only person you need to prove your loyalty to is yourself. Because even if you do give them whatever they're asking for, they're still going to abuse you because it's in their nature. So I know it's uncomfortable to be called crazy. I know it's uncomfortable to have the person that you love continuously abuse you. But it's going to be really uncomfortable when you start to realize I want to get out of this situation. But because the relationship cannot heal, it's not going to heal. I have to go and it's making me uncomfortable. So when you're the person that leaves an abusive relationship, you may discover you do not have support because other women are still trapped in abusive relationships and they're not understanding how this game is being played. This is a numbers game. A narcissistic player or a narcissistic serial dater who is emotionally and mentally imbalanced is more than likely triggering the woman's insecurities. So that jealousy and envy can keep us apart. Now, some will hear this and say, well, I'm jealous and envious. And you're just going to sit there and take it. Relationship healing. No. Your burdens of envy and jealousy are yours. In fact, I really feel like the collective consciousness is releasing false alliances where there's overindulgence of something, just doing something too much, where it's just toxic. Healthy friendships actually experience change. You know how you'll like, okay, there's a movie with Britney Spears, Zoe Saldana, and Brittany Murphy. No, not Brittany Murphy, but I'm trying to think of her name. She was in Hustle and Flow. But the three young ladies grew apart and came back together. And they supported each other's different endeavors. It's not the friendship where we dress the same, we move right next to each other. This is codependency. Codependent people. With this 8 of Hearts, as you are releasing, as you are healing from what you've been told friendship is, you're going to be getting some messages from people from your past. They're going to be getting ballsy as hell to be like, hey, all the while, this is going to be your test to say, so I get what's happening here. When I did not have healthy boundaries, I did not understand that what we were experiencing was a karmic lesson. But now that I have healthy boundaries and I see that you're still not respecting it, and even if I try to speak plainly and clearly to you what a fucking boundary is, I understand you're still not going to respect that either. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to speak to you how you made me feel. And then that's all I need to do. See, a lot of us feel so emotionally vulnerable. We think that if we tell the people who hurt us intentionally, you hurt me, we're going to look weak. And we're going to look like, oh my gosh, they about to abuse me and exploit me. No, the average abuser taught you not to express your emotions so that you would not know how to describe the pain they were giving to you, so they would not be faced with the truth that, you know what? I have abused a young, innocent soul. And because I do not want to admit that I'm wrong and I have shame and guilt, I'm just going to try to buy the shit, a whole bunch of shit to cover up the fact that I feel bad about myself for mistreating someone because I didn't want to take the time to heal. So you might be thinking, but if I tell them how I feel, they're going to do the same thing. No, they're going to be scared as hell because you said, wait. You ever notice if you were empath and you try to speak about something in detail, people rush you? And I used to think to myself, well, there's a time to talk, a time limit to talk. Then I start to realize you're rushing me because you don't want me to express myself clearly. And even though I am in a leadership position, you are still trying to stand down. So here's what we are going to do. This is where, as an empath, you have to accept that sometimes I want to speak the truth, but they are going above and beyond to ignore my truth. So you go and find another way to express your truth. Because if they don't want to understand you because they don't want to take the time to understand their own pain, you find another way that's healing for you, that brings you peace, to put this trauma to rest. And that's where you discover your spiritual powers. Archangel Metatron is here. When you release trauma, you get beautiful. Inside and out. Because how is it you experience so much trauma and you are accepting yourself as you are? You are not trying to present yourself to the world as something that you're not. You are simply being your authentic self, okay? Let me go get some tea. So, y'all, I was so blessed. I was walking in the subway and there was a gentleman selling some dope incense. This incense had the whole place bumping. Like, you know, I'm walking in the NYC subway and I'm thinking to myself, well, somebody smells good today. You know what I mean? And hold on, who child? Alright. Yeah, I'm thinking something, you know, people's taking care of their personal hygiene. Only to discover it was incense. This incense is good. Alright, but yeah. Archangel Metatron. That's a beautiful angel. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about Archangel Metatron because Archangel Metatron is not appreciated enough. See, a lot of our spiritual power, aka psychic abilities, comes from Archangel Metatron. And there's a lot of government programs done to do illegal research on psychic individuals. Individuals who have endured trauma and have chosen to not become like the trauma itself are highly targeted individuals. Well, let's think Archangel Metatron. There's no reason to fear if you're highly psychic. Archangel Metatron ain't nothing to fuck with. Okay? Sacred geometry tells me that there are so many layers, and you ever you know those movie scenes where the person is traveling through time and space, but they're able to see different ways, like if something had changed. You know, they're able to see how someone could have aged differently or someone could have did this and that. Well, sacred geometry, you start to discover that numbers is not just a subject to be honored in mathematics. Number is something to be honored in the spiritual realm. Angel numbers are highly important. In fact, angel number 16 is going to give you some answers to a very difficult issue. Okay. So we're gonna do a prayer for Archangel Metatron, because Archangel Metatron is a very wonderful being to know. And if you don't respect Archangel Metatron, then let's bow our heads in honor of Archangel Metatron. Dear Most High, I just want to say thank you for allowing us to be present to worship together as a family. And let's let that sink in, family. We want to give thanks and love to our brother Archangel Metatron, who is allowing us to be able to fly high again. We want to say thank you, Archangel Metatron, for your sacrifices, but no longer will Archangel Metatron sacrifice again. We are going to support Archangel Metatron and all that Archangel Metatron does. So when Archangel Metatron says, step up to the plate, step up to the plate. Life could be on the line. Archangel Metatron blesses us with sacred geometry and esoteric wisdom and spiritual power to protect yourself in this world. You know, it may look like you got it easy. Everything easy for them. All right. So, we got Commander Ashtar. And we got the Three of Hearts. So you guys are going to be doing some traveling soon. You're going to be able to see those that you love. Got a little cold in here. If you've been feeling a little bit lonely, you know, like I haven't actually, you know, met my soul tribe yet. Well, you'll be meeting them soon. It's like the soul tribe family you always wanted. Thank you, universe. You know, a lot of people wish for money and fame and clothes and shoes and cars. But what they truly want are friends they can trust. So I have a feeling that you've healed a friendship wound from being stabbed in the back by people who did not know how to express themselves authentically. And they were highly jealous of your authenticity. And so what I'm picking up here is you actually are going to be meeting your real soul tribe family. If you haven't already met them. Okay. So you're going to be asked to get outside your comfort zone. Go somewhere you normally wouldn't go. You know what I mean? Like, go to a place you ain't never been. Get in the car, gas up, go. Take your favorite food. You know, take your dog, take your cat, take your fish, take whatever you want, take your kids. Shit, go ahead, have fun. And go to a place you ain't never been before, and it's going to bring you and your loved ones closer. It's going to be like, wait. We had fun together. You ain't even got to spend money for something, like literally. Something like you could just say, let's do something different today. Like, let's play a game of cards. Like, wouldn't it be so freaking cool to have a whole family full of psychics, empaths, hayokas, free of narcissism? Yo, I got hope and faith that eventually families are going to be much more healthier. But if we can, you know, I'm grateful for healthy friendships. So get out your comfort zone to just go to explore yourself, and you're going to meet your soul tribe family. And if you like, I don't have a car because I ain't got a car right now. Actually, I don't want a car. I want a spaceship. But what is it called? A spaceship with suicide doors. I got 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 a spaceship with suicide doors. Yo. I got it. I got a spaceship with suicide doors. 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 I I got a spaceship with suicide doors, glistening with diamonds. Oh, Jevoy, look inside. What do you see? A map of the world. On the TV screen. I gotta, oh shit. Hold on. Get it. All right. I'm about to go to the music store and just jam out on the lab. Well, shit, yo. You know what I got? Band lab, bitch. Have I used it? Nah. Do I feel like getting up in there and making a fucking cut? I got a spaceship with suicide doors. Okay. All right. Good news. Before we head out. Spaceship with suicide doors. I got a spaceship with suicide doors. I got it. All right. You about to discover something real unique about spirituality. Most people don't get this far down the rabbit hole. But those of you who do get down this far down the rabbit hole, well, it's real lovely down here. All right. So in this time, you want to experience a peace that you ain't never experienced before. It's be a very enlightening experience. And you're gonna be getting out your comfort zone. When I say your comfort zone, I mean you're gonna get outside your comfort zone, cuz the type of comfort zone, like somebody wanted you to stand down, but you about to stand out. And so rock it, don't stop it. I heal your dry eyes, overcome redness. Who got dry eyes up in here? Well, you know what? I definitely love my binaural beats. So I'm about to go cut a track and listen to some binaural beats. And you got the messages? Cool. Peace.